Alright, so now we move on to your distribution channels. So what are your distribution channels? Well, before we dive into your distribution channels, I just want to rewire your brain and thoughts about social media, or basically your distribution channels. Social media in this sense is or are your distribution channels, right? So I want you to see social media as your front end marketing channel and not the main end point where you do your sales. Of course, you can do your sales, you can do immediate sales uh, using these social media platforms or these distribution channels, but the main purpose of social media or your distribution channels is to be the front end of your marketing channel or your business, because people are a lot, and most of the people on the internet are using one of the few one of the many social media platforms. You just have to know and understand where they are or what social media platform they are using. All right. So the selling does not happen in your social media platforms. Again, it can, but as much as possible, your distribution channels should not be the platform for your conversions. I want you to think of social media platforms as, let's say, Facebook or LinkedIn as your networking channel. This is where you get to network to people, get to know them, get to distribute your message, and so on and so forth. Your YouTube or your YouTube social media platform is basically or today's television. All right. SoundCloud is today's radio. Twitter or any blog platforms are your newspapers, today's newspaper, right? Email is your direct mail, or in a sense, the snail mail in a traditional sense. The messenger marketing act or the messenger platform acts as your SMS or your text messaging distribution channel. So I want you to see these things, these social media platform as our current traditional old school distribution channels, because back in the days, without back in the days when social media platforms were not yet around, people do networking, they watch television, they listen to radio channels, people read the newspapers, and they receive direct mail from companies, and so on, and then SMS or text messaging. So the counterpart, the modern counterpart of these old school traditional marketing distribution channels are your social media platform. So I want you to see them that way, right? Now, again, one of the reasons why online marketing and digital marketing is such a powerful tool is because if you were to place an advertisement in any of the old school, the traditional distribution channels, it would cost you a fortune. It would cost you a lot. Television ads can start from 100,000 to 1 million, depending on the prime time. Radio, the same way. Newspaper, you'd have to pay a lot to have an ad in the newspaper that now nobody or not a lot reads. And then direct mail, you need to spend on paper, on ink, on distributing your direct mails, and SMS marketing is also an expensive tool. Whereas these social media platform can be a lot of times free and really cheap and inexpensive, has more targeting, has better targeting algorithms, and better data. You can store better data using these platforms. So I want you to see and compare and analyze the difference between the old school and the new school, or the modern and the traditional, in a sense. All right. So social media. So your distribution channel is social media: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and so on, SoundCloud, and so on. They are your distribution channels, basically your social media. So this is where your audiences are coming from, because again, a lot, probably more than half of the world's population is already using any of the social media platforms that you have here. So your audiences or your potential target market are most likely, and I am pretty confident that most likely your customers or your potential customers are already in any of these social media platforms, whether they be CEOs, CEOs hanging out in LinkedIn, from teenagers using Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and so on and so forth. Just have to know where they are hanging out, or what social media platform they are most using. Next is your online store, your web page. Your web page can be, there are tons and tons of free and paid platforms that you can utilize for your business, for your online store, or for your online business. Again, you don't need to have the most expensive website. All you need is a web page, because your web page would act as your online presence, your online business store, right? You can have platforms such as Wix.com, Sitebuilder.com, WordPress.com, GoDaddy.com, and so on and so forth. There are basically literally thousands, or if not millions, of these types of platform around that you can use for your online business, or for your business in general. Next is your communication channel, which is your email. So you have, you can have Gmail, MailerLite, MailChimp, and so on and so forth. There are tons, hundreds and thousands of email marketing platforms that you can use. They have, free plans or paid plans, but they're not as expensive as you would imagine. So again, your social media platform is your distribution channel. Your social media platforms are your distribution channels. Your web page would act as your online store, and your email would act as your communication channel. All right. And the next, your selling platform or your sales channel can be, again, your web page or a phone call or a meetup. This is basically how now you will sell to your audiences, to your prospects. If you're doing everything online, you can have your sales page, you can have your sales channel as your web page. Or if not, if you need to talk to your prospects directly, then you can set up a phone call, or if not, a meetup. So again, these primary tools are what makes up the entire system, right? Now, don't get me wrong, alright? There are a lot of businesses that don't need these elements, these platforms. There are there are also a lot of businesses that have shorter sales cycle and system. So from social media, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, they can directly go to the sales channel, to the web page where you sell your products, phone call, meetups. You can see this basically in retail stores, in online clothing shops, where they post images and videos of clothing or the products that they are selling, and once the people click, they are automatically redirected to a web page, or where they can purchase right there and then, to phone calls or meetups. Again, it depends on your business model. It depends on the product or service that you are offering. The advantage of having these platforms and these set up in your business system is that, again, you're able to build credibility. You're able to build relationship and build a stronger and more loyal customer base. This particular selling platform, this particular model where you have your social media, a web page, an email, and a sales channel is good for both short-term and long-term customers, and both short-term goals and long-term goals. Whereas a shorter sales cycle and system is ideal for short-term sales goals. So if you are catching up with your quarterly or monthly quota, then this method is beneficial for you in order for you to reach your monthly goals or your short-term goals. All right. So this shorter system and sales cycle is also ideal for your business for short-term goals if you need quicker cash flow. But tendency again is you lose the potential of creating a bigger customer base that will bring you more value and more valuable and loyal clients for your long-term business goals. Again, if you have already built an established business and you have a good network, a good client base, then tendency is shorter sales cycle and system is also beneficial for you. So there are no rights and wrongs here, all right? Don't get me wrong. You can do both. You just have to see which of these long-term and short-term cycle and system works best for your business.